Hello festival goers of the internet, I'm the Festival Finesser, and today we are finally talking about Summoning of the Eclipse 2023, also known as Summoning Fest, which is a sudden Dutch curated event going down for the second year in a row at the Caverns in Pelham, Tennessee. This year it's going down for 3 days, October 13th through 15th, and in this video we're going to be looking at the lineup and talking about these artists that are playing, and also talking about my experience from last year, very briefly to give you guys a little bit of idea what to expect and what you can look out for if you're going to the festival. So I don't know if I'm going myself this year, unfortunately, because I'm still working on Lost Lands, but if I don't go to Lost Lands, I'm going to try and send Summoning, so it'd be really dope to go to Summoning and see the evolution from last year. If you guys want to check out that content, you can, but for now, let's run the intro and get into this lineup review for Summoning Fest 2023.
Can I get it?
Festival Finesser.
Finesse gang, Summoning fam, can I get a yer? What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. For those who are new here and don't know me, what's good? I'm the Festival Finesser, my videographer, content creator, and DJ. This is my YouTube channel that revolves around music festivals and live music-going experiences with a focus and concentration on dubstep and rhythm. And my goal for this channel is to help you guys have the best experience possible by learning off experience, education, and knowledge. So today, we are talking about Summoning Fest. And before we get into the artists and what kind of vibes we're going to be bringing and just my review of the lineup, I want to talk about my experience from last year briefly. There are vlogs on the channel. You can pretty much relive the whole experience from when I left my house to when I returned, you know, with the pre-party, the camping, the arrival, the security, the check-in, the venue, you know. So the biggest thing that really struck me that I was like misled about was just the stages. You know, I thought the cave was going to be the main stage and the, you know, the secondary stage was going to be like the above ground stage, but the above ground, you know, like the field stage, I think they call it like the Bloodwoods stage, is more of the main stage because it has the production, it has the LEDs, it has the fire, the pyro, the laser works, all that stuff. And the cave is more of a vibe. It's very dark and it's just projections. There's no LEDs. It's not very bright. Kind of just a dark chaos, you know, and even the pits, you're moshing in pitch black. It is so dark, very minimal lighting, and I just really enjoyed my time outside because I could see more. And you know, there were some really crazy acts that went down in that cave, but also last year the cave hit a capacity and there was like a traffic control problem. There was just like a lot of like clogging trying to get in and out of the cave, and it was just causing a problem. At one point I shut the cave down during like COD dubs, and I was so tight about that because I really wanted to see that set. But again, it's a first-time festival, this year being its second, so there's some things that they're going to have to, like, overcome and learn as they're going, because some things you can't account on, you know? You can try and prepare for that all you want, but when it's happening, you know, you're going to kind of have to just, make do with what you got and use your resources, and they definitely, like, saw the problem, figured it out, and resolved it. And it only was maybe about like 30 minutes or so of like uncertainty and closure, I'm pretty sure. The other, you know, big complaint from last year a lot of people were talking about is the security. The first day at the pre-party, security was breaking up mosh pits like aggressively and really just honing in on like every pit that opened up. And they were just shutting it down with the flashlights and just like being very preventative of it, and just, you know, putting their hands on people and like really trying to shut it down. And like, you gotta kind of know where you are. And again, you can't control like that kind of like that is, I'm pretty sure that security is provided by the venue, so you can't control that. But somebody has to communicate to someone and be like, hey, this is okay, this is not a liability. I mean, maybe it is, I don't know, but it's not with like bad intentions, you know. It's not really playful, but it's part of the culture, you know. It's how we dance, it's how we express ourselves. So like that should be known and discussed prior, you know, or at least figured out, because we should not have to be dealing with no mosh pits at a sudden death festival when mosh pits are usually encouraged, you know. So that was another big thing. And then I feel like the biggest thing, you know, for this year is they'll talk about the price, man. There have been a lot of, you know, I feel like it like tripled in price, or at least doubled. And I get it, it went from 2 days to 3. So right now, I think a 3-day pass is like $350 after fee, which is totally cool with me. I'm down for, like, you know, I feel like $100 a day for a festival is like standard, you know. Like anything that is more than that is like, damn, y'all are really trying to like make a quick buck, you know. And this year, I mean, everybody was talking about was a camping pass, man. 3 days of camping is almost $300, and again, that's like per car. But how many people can you really fit in a car full of camping stuff? You know, like it's always just me and Bree, and the rest of our car, which is a, you know, an SUV type of car, is jam-packed with festival stuff and camping stuff. And granted, we have like a whole fucking setup, but you know, to split that camping pass to two people is like $150 each almost, you know, like give or take. And it's just like, Granted, maybe I'm being cheap, but it just seems like a lot compared to what we've done in the past and other. And again, I haven't really paid for a ticket in so long. I could be like exaggerating, but I remember a lot of talk about the car camping passes being overly expensive. That is my kind of 2 cents on the festival, and my experience from last year generally. If I was going to do like a quick review. Other than that, it was fucking awesome. It did have like first year festival vibes in regards to production. It wasn't like wowing production. Like it had lasers, it had pyro. The drone show was actually sick. That was a nice touch. I'm not sure if that's summoning or the cabbage with the drones at like that was sick. That was really cool. It wasn't like there wasn't too much to do. It was just like music and food and like going to the bathroom. And that was really all my summoning consisted of, and that was honestly all I really needed. For a festival like this, like I'm here for the music and the vibes. And speaking of vibes, I do want to talk about the kind of people this brings. It brings a very core underground dubstep rhythm crowd. Everybody's in black. Everyone knows what's up, and I really fuck with that. And I think now we're going to talk about the artists that are going to be bringing those kind of people out here, So kicking off, we have Masterhand. And when I saw this, I was like, damn, I have no idea who this person is, and I feel like that's like, I don't know, it said something to me. I was like, how do I not know who this person is? And then Sudden Death later announced that it is a trio, Sudden Death, Space Laces, and Eptic, and that is going to be sick because they're all just so like, I feel like they're all very good friends, and they're all just like legends in the dubstep community and industry. So like the three of them is going to be an awesome sound, awesome vibe, and it's going to be a fucking performance and a half. So that is going to be sick. Masterhand debut. And I'm very interested and curious to see what other Masterhand sets come about after this one. So we have a blurred out name here, which is very interesting as a headliner. And then we have more, which is kind of expected, Sudden Death Alias. And just very theatrical, heavy. And yeah, so now getting into this next tier here. I guess this is kind of like tier 1. So you have like headliners, then tier 1. And in tier 1 we have Apache, Eptic, Gentleman's Club, which is like big one. Helix presents Miter. I'm not sure what that is, honestly. Hole, Kaiwachi, Must Die, Space Laces, and YBM3. So definitely some big hitters here. We have Eptic and OG, Gentleman's Club, some OGs as well. Hedix, I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, but that is a treat on here. I feel like that is an OG in dubstep for sure. Then we have Hole, another big one for the rhythm kids, and Hole has been buzzing, honestly. It's like a little bit surprising, but not really that he is on this tier 1 lineup, because Hole is usually a tier 2. Actually, no. I think Hole made it to tier 1 on Lost Lanes this year, if I'm not mistaken. So big ups to Hole. He has been fucking making waves in the dubstep and rhythm scene, and really kind of like, he fucking shot up real quick. Like, yeah, big ups to Hole. Then we have Kaiwachi bringing more of that heavy, kind of like sustained vibe, very crunchy. Must Die bringing a whole different bunch of vibes, honestly. I feel like Must Die brings an array of vibes. Definitely an OG dubstep artist, but nowadays kind of gives you a little bit of everything. And then we have Space Laces, same kind of thing, a little bit of everything. And Space Laces does like half dubstep and half space house. Bass house. I love it. And it's just that very classic space house vibe. And or bass house vibe by Space Laces, and he really fucking kills that sound, and just overall he kills like a lot of sounds. He's an awesome producer. And then we have YBM3, another big name that has been buzzing, and I got to see YBM3 play at the Mirage, and it was just very heavy, tear out, deathly, if that's a word to describe music, and just very aggressive and like jaw dropping, just like absurd, obnoxious, heavy dubstep. Like, yeah. So now we get into the tier 2 acts here. We have 100 Drums, who I feel like is, again, not as more on like the weirder and chiller side of things. I feel like 100 Drums is not dubstep and like heavy. AFK and Sisto is definitely going to be heavy. And this is a very unique back-to-back. I didn't even know AFK and Sisto really fuck with each other like that. If they do, maybe not. But I know AFK and Sudden Death are definitely homies. So that's definitely going to be heavy, crunchy. Sisto brings kind of like a dubstep rhythm infused. Very dark, very stompy, very crunchy on both ends. I feel like AFK has a little bit more of a like OG dubstep vibe. And uses a little bit more sustained. But overall going to be heavy and high energy. Akios, notorious for rhythm. But I have no idea what he's going to be bringing. He's just like, doing whatever he wants and just playing what he wants and, just experimenting with his genre and his brand. So, like, big ups to Akios and just keep doing whatever you want to do. Next up, we have Algo back-to-back Dak Daniels. And that is going to be heavy as fuck. Jack Daniels brings a very heavy teriyaki crunchy sound, and I feel like Algo is gonna bring that too. I feel like Algo might be a little bit more rhythmy, but Jack Daniels can bring that rhythm too. So the both of them together is gonna be very sick, very heavy, and very aggressive as well. Definitely some mosh pits breaking out. Next we have Artix, definitely big in the rhythm scene, been doing his thing for a long time, and is now finally breaking out into the U.S. and has been fucking killing it. And yeah, man, I love an Artix set, and Artix has been showing a lot of love, and it'd be really fucking sick to see Artix at Summoning, because that perfect place to see Artix. And a lot of these artists definitely really fit this like summoning dub. This is like an underground fest, and Sudden Death did a very good job of creating an underground lineup. And these are not like, even like your mainstream artists are not that mainstream, you know, like Whole, Gentleman's Club, YBM3, Hedex. Like these are like not your everyday like names on lineups, you know, especially in tier 1. So, where were we now? Now we have Automate back-to-back Ulasa, bro. That's going to be fucking sick. They have a very similar sound, both very rhythmy, both very, like, quarter notey, just like, oh, man. That is going to be so sick just thinking about it, man. Big ups to both of them, Automate and Ulasa. Very big names in the rhythm community, very OG, very respected, you know, especially on SoundCloud. That's what I'm talking about. An artist like Automate, an artist like Ulasa, I've been listening to on SoundCloud forever, and I've seen Ulasa a couple times. But like it's just so, it's always sick to see an artist like that who's just like more known for their music. You know, you see them on Spotify, you see them on SoundCloud, and they finally are, you see them in real life. You put a face to the name and a face to the music, and it's just, those are two artists that like the perfect combo. Next we have Ominous, another just like dubstep staple, gonna be giving you that ominous sound. He kind of has like, you know, with that Halcyon, remember that was Ulasal, but like Ominous has some tracks on Halcyon that kind of like melodic, you know, color-based, future rhythm kind of stuff, but also has like some fucking rhythm anthems like Wonton Bass, Rhythm for Dummies, Not That Simple, Under the Bed, you know, like he has some fucking bangers, and like that is the dubstep and rhythm that I came up on, you know, those OG Ominous tracks, and that was why Ominous was one of my favorite artists. But like the new Ominous sound, not so much, but I do like and respect how you can always hear that Ominous sound design, you know, it's very distinct, and you can just, it really stands out. Next we have Beast Boy, who has been buzzed. I've been hearing a lot of things about Beast Boy, and honestly, I have not heard too much of his music. I've heard a few songs here and there, but it's always been like collabs. So I have really yet to kind of figure out what this dude's sound is, whether it's you know, produced or live. I feel like he has more of a melodic, color-based future kind of vibe, but I could be wrong. But I also feel like he's going to be bringing some heavy as well, you know, like a nice balance. Next up we have Ben's Mixer, another rhythm OG, R2AD, a fucking rhythm anthem and classic tune, and you are going to be just getting some really OG core rhythm vibes for this set. Next up we have Chango back-to-back Stains. This is a big one for the rhythm community, a big one for the Florida rhythm community, man. They're both out of Florida, and Stains is like the OG Florida native rhythm dude, and Chango is now the new native Florida rhythm dude, and together they're gonna bring a fucking fire set, bro, because they both are just like very core rhythm in their sounds, their style, and just like their artistry. It's very just rhythm and nothing else. This next one is a little bit different, Chi back-to-back liney, but definitely a heavy hitting back-to-back, bro. These are two very big names in like the kind of like experimental and like weird and wonky, not really so much wonky, definitely experimental, trippy, chill, and like liney, bro, has been fucking killing it. Just like tracks for days that have just been popping off in sets, and you probably hear like 5 liney tracks at a festival and don't even know that they're his, man. He has some fucking bangers on. Same thing with Chi, bro. So like two definitely big respected names in the weird realm, in the weird world of bass, and the back-to-back, two of them together is gonna be sick. Next up, we have Digitus back-to-back Execution. I'm noticing a lot of back-to-backs this year, which I am hyped on. The back-to-backs are very complimentary. This is going to be a very heavy one, and I feel like that is a very just complimentary back-to-back. Executioner and Digitus, very heavy, very high energy, kind of like tear-outy dubstep, like aggressive mosh pit kind of stuff. Next up, we have another huge one, bro. The revival of Dubloads, dude. Because Dubloads, like, kind of took a step back and almost like retired and just stopped doing shit. He did house loads for a little while, and then like just totally like stepped back and did not. And like to see his name is so sick. And like I was a huge Dubloads fan. He's from Jersey like myself, and just like awesome music, awesome dude, awesome energy, awesome stage presence, and to like that is one of the main reasons I want to go to this festival, to see the revival of Dubloads. So like, just, yeah, that is a big deal if you're a dubstep dude, alright? Especially if you came up like 2015, 2016, you know, Dubloads at Lost Lands for the first year at Cave of Souls. Are you kidding me, dude? One of my favorite, like, most memorable sets, okay? I'm done. That was my Dubloads rant. We can go on to the next one now. We have Amorphic, another big one, another homie. I'm pretty sure he played the pre-party last year. And, Sudden Death and Amorphic have very similar vibes. Aggressive, dark, and, stompy, crunchy. And, Amorphic definitely fits this lineup very well. And I know he's going to be bringing a heavy, stompy, aggressive energy. And he's going to be bringing that angry shit for the pits. So, big ups to Amorphic. Next up, we have E.T. Fanger, who I'm not familiar with. And same thing with Great Milk, I'm not familiar with. And I feel like these could be artists that Sudden Death kind of is, like, trying to put on and, like, spotlight, Or just, artists Sudden Death supports. He's really big on, like, supporting his homies and his inner circle and, like, just putting other artists on that he supports and believes in. Sudden Death is all about the music and the craft, and I feel like he puts on a lot of these artists who would not these artists would not be getting put on by big festivals. But Sudden Death, he'll put them on a big festival. And this next one on here, too, is also crazy. Hammer back-to-back Blank Space. These dudes are homies, so this set is going to just have a lot of chemistry, and it is going to be very heavy, very stompy on the Hammer side. And then on the Blank Space side, very rhythmy, very kind of, has the beepy boop song, beepy bop song, whatever. And, Blank Space can do a little bit of everything. Wouldn't be even surprised if you do some house in there. But that is just going to be a fire back-to-back, heavy dubstep, rhythm, piney energy, mosh pit energy. I will definitely approve of that back-to-back. That is going to be a big one for sure. Next up, we have Heckler, who is nice to see on here. Haven't seen Heckler on a lineup in a while. And, used to have this, heavy dubstep, trap kind of, wave. And now he is on a different wave of, more melodic. I guess it's still kind of trappy, but it's really weird. But it's a cool weird. It's, very uplifting and euphoric and kind of, glitchy. And it's really cool. So big ups to Heckler. Next up, we have Azadi back-to-back J-Moss. And I'm familiar with both of these names, not too much musically, just in scrolling and I actually saw J-Moss at the Grocery Bash in Arizona, and I know a recent track that Izadi came out with that I've been playing in my sets, and I feel like it'd be a little bit more weird based on Izadi, but I feel like J-Moss also is a little bit heavy as well, so I'm not sure what you're going to be getting, but maybe a balance of heavy, weird, kind of like a Yuki or an ATLiens kind of vibe maybe. Next up we have Genie, who notoriously is more kind of weird and trappy kind of a vibe, but also will bring a heavy vibe as well. Definitely dark and just definitely an overall heavy vibe. Can be weird at times. Again, kind of a Yuki, ATLiens, half bass, half weird, a mesh of kind of just heavy bass. Next up we have John Casey, who is in more of the weird experimental realm. That's all I can really say about that. I'm not too familiar with the weird experimental all that much. Next up we have Killfeed, formerly Soman or 5-0 Band, you might know him, and this is again another rhythm OG who has kind of altered his sound and is going more of I guess a dubstep route. Not so rhythmy, but kind of a mesh, a gray area of dubstep and rhythm, and just notoriously a rhythm artist back in the day, but I feel like the rebrand kind of rebranded his sound as well, and now it has almost more of a crunchy tear out sound. But overall, gonna be heavy as fuck and gonna be a sick set nonetheless. Next up, we have Lucille Croft doing a DMB set. Maya, I'm not familiar with. Movie, I'm pretty sure, is more of that weird experimental stuff. Muerte, very heavy, very stompy, and just very dark and heavy, to say the least. Nushi, I'm not familiar with. Atusak, I'm not sure how to say that. Atsukare, I'm not familiar with. Phonon back-to-back Mad Dubs. We get a Mad Dubs debut. That's going to be sick as well. Phonon kind of doing the future rhythm, I guess pioneering almost. And Mad Dubs just doing rhythm. Just core classic OG rhythm. And those two together are going to be sick. And I would imagine that I don't really know too much about Phonon, honestly. But I know those are two big names in the rhythm community. So that is a sick back-to-back. Next up, we have Prosecute, another heavy dubstep act. Reverend, I'm not familiar with. Sock, I'm not familiar with. Sora, that's dope to see him out here, man. Sora has been doing his thing for a while. Kind of, Sora and Beast Boy have a collab, and I feel like that's why I kind of grouped them together, because, Sora can do heavy dubstep, but also is kind of more known for doing, euphoric, melodic, color-based, future kind of stuff. So I feel like this set at Summoning is going to be a balance of that, some heavy with some melodic. Next up we have Space Wizard, who I saw at Forbidden Kingdom for the first time, and after getting recommended by my homies, I was I got why they recommended him. It was so sick, so heavy. It's in more of the weird realm, but it it hits. It's heavy. It's it's a very kind of Liquid Stranger, how it's heavy but it's weird. Space Wizard in that same category. Spock, another big one in the underground who's been doing his thing for a long time. Just heavy dubstep, has a lot of dubstep anthems you probably wouldn't even know or recognize, but he has a lot of tracks under his belt that have been rinsed at like big festival tunes, you know what I'm saying? Sweet Tooth, man, this dude is fucking sick. Gonna be bringing amazing energy on stage, like mad plates, big underground music, high energy, heavy dubstep, rhythm. Just, I love his Sweet Tooth set. I love Sweet Tooth energy. His stage presence is sick, and his vibe, his energy as a person is awesome as well. So, big ups to Sweet Tooth. Keep fucking doing your thing. We have Uber back-to-back FISO, another just like, they do backpacks a lot, honestly, especially on sudden death like shows. So that is just gonna be heavy. That's it. It's gonna be heavy. Uber, FISO. Need I say more? That is heavy. Then and Sizzy back-to-back. Holy fuck. Uber back-to-back, FISO back-to-back, Sizzy. That is insane, bro. I don't even know what you're gonna get. Like, that is just so insane. Don't miss that. Next up, we have Vampa putting on for the females, and I heard Vampa threw the fuck down at summoning. Like, not, I kind of suspect her to do more of like a experimental weird, but I heard she brought the fucking heavy and the plates, bro. Like ID after ID. I didn't see it, but I've been hearing really big things about her, and I feel like her sets are taking more of a heavy route, and to see her on here, maybe that is proof in the pudding. Next up, we have Van Fleet, who is going to be bringing, honestly, I'm not even sure how to describe it. Like, it's rhythm, but it's not like OG rhythm. It's kind of like in that, like, maybe like phonon category, like it's future-y. I feel like a live set would be more heavy, but I'm not too familiar on Van Fleet. Again, one of those like SoundCloud artists who have just, I see the name, I know a couple tracks, but like I've never really seen them live. Next up, we have Veltri, I'm not familiar with. Vulgar, that is going to be a big one on here, man. That is a big addition this year. They're going to, like, Summoning and Vulgar makes so much sense together, man. It's, like, dark and just gory and just bloody, and, yeah, so, that is a sick addition, and it's just a very nice, like, it makes sense. And they're going to be bringing just that core, vulgar rhythm, high energy, bouncy, high knee kind of shit, and, yeah, that's going to be a big set for sure at Summoning. Next up, we have Water Spirit, who I'm not familiar with. Yaks back-to-back. Chibs, a fucking big back-to-back. Very OG rhythm, very core vibes, and two, honestly, just like dubstep pioneers going back-to-back. What more could you ask for? And then we have Unit back-to-back. Zen, more just fucking OG dubstep sounds, and again, more fire back-to-backs. And lastly, we have Zuba, again, someone who's been doing his thing on SoundCloud forever, and someone who I feel like deserves more credit, but again, nice to see him on here, and you definitely know that Zuba's sound when you hear it. It's crunchy, it's like that quarter, like I said, you know it, and like I said, dope to see Zuba on here and being on like big festival lineups, especially for the underground, especially for the rhythm scene. So the last special guest we have on here is Kill Safari, Kill the Noise, back-to-back Bro Safari, and that is going to be a treat. Have no idea what you're going to get, but being a special guest and being two big artists like that, I feel like it's going to be an awesome performance, very theatrical, a lot of ideas, a lot of bangers, a lot of edits, a lot of new shit, a lot of collabs, and yeah, I mean, this is a very stacked lineup, and now that I've done this review, I really want to go. Like, getting into back-to-backs are crazy, and yeah, dude, like I said, it's a small festival. It really kind of calls to that really underground dubstep crowd, the kids that were all black, the kids that go to the rhythm shows, the kids that like it's that particular breed of like dubstep kids, so yeah, that is my review, that is my thoughts, what you can expect. Like I said, you can check out the vlogs from last year, get an idea of what to expect. And I'm really interested to see what kind of evolutions get made, and how much how much bigger the stages are, and maybe there's enhancements made to the cave and the traffic and the flow and the layout. I'm very excited to see, and I hope we get to experience it and film it and share it with you all. So on the Festival Finesser, that is my review of Summoning Fest. If you have any comments, any remarks, anything that I messed up, any artists that you would recommend or that I mislabeled, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys for the next one very soon. Appreciate y'all. Much love.